Hello, lovely viewers. You are most welcome to our channel Poetry Online. In this video, we shall be discussing the summary, analysis, themes, symbols, and characters of the book Edufa by Efua Sutherland. Kindly subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to get updates on all our new videos. Once again, let us assure you of a very interesting discussion. Get ready for this lesson. Efua Sutherland was a pioneer of African theatre, prominent Ghanaian playwright, poet, producer, children's actor, teacher, research scholar, and social worker. She is best known as a dramatist, but her work is informed by a vision of a better society, which she believed could be established through impacting sustainable cultural education. She is recognized as one of Ghana's dynamic voices in employing traditional theatre for promoting social change. As a creative thinker and activist, she used her talent and skills in educating the future generation. Educated first in Ghana and later in England, she returned in Ghana in 1950. Efua Sutherland co-founded the Society of Writers in 1957 and the literary magazine Ochame in 1961. In 1958, Efua Sutherland established the Ghana Experimental Theatre in Accra. In 1960, she received funding from the US-based Rockefeller Foundation and the Arts Council of Ghana, and the experimental theatre became the Ghana Drama Studio. Initially, she established the drama studio as a workshop for children's writers, but it soon became a training ground for Ghanaian playwrights, providing an outlet for creative new theatre. She wrote in both Akan language and in English. Besides a number of essays, articles, short stories, and poems, she also wrote short biographies and books and plays for children. Efua Sutherland began her career writing short stories, but she discovered that theatre or drama would have a wider reach in a newly independent Ghana, where most citizens were illiterate. She pioneered an indigenous movement of writing, publishing, and development through drama. Her best plays are Foriwa, 1962, Edufa, published in 1967, and The Marriage of Ananswa, also published in 1957. And in this video, we're going to discuss Edufa. The play opens with a prologue that sets the scene for the gloom and misery which pervades this tragedy. It is almost morning, but Abena, the younger sister of Edufa, has not been allowed to get any sleep. She must collect the night's dew in one pot and fresh water from the stream in another. As she performs her mystic duty, she complains of the terrors of the night and speaks of the changes that has come over her brother's household. Edufa's house was once full of laughter and once a place of solace to all, but now the house shuts its gates to friends. The wife of Edufa Ampuma is unwell, but strangely, the illness is kept as a secret. Her own brother says nothing to her. All she knows is that she is consumed by sorrow. Act 1 opens rather cinematically, with Edufa's hand reaching out to pick up the pots Abena has filled during the night, and his voice giving instruction to someone, clearly Sogua, on how they are to be used to prepare the ritual bath for his wife. The playwright builds up the atmosphere of foreboding by introducing the funeral chants of a chorus of women, which initially alarms Edufa until he reassures himself that the dead singers are not coming to his house. His conversation with Segua is filled with anxiety and desperation. Segua thinks their efforts, consisting of ritual baths and incense burning, are not yielding any result, or they are not bringing any relief to the unfortunate lady of the house. Let's call for help, she says desperately, but Edufa does not agree. He wishes his wife's condition will be kept a secret. Segua is especially unhappy about the fact that Ampume's illness is being kept from her mother, and she does not believe, as Edufa seems to do, that the invalid is getting better. She nevertheless agrees to do as Edufa wishes. Efua Sutherland, in this opening scene, creates a scene of apprehension and mystery, a feeling that Ampume's illness is a consequence of some abominable deed. When Apuma herself appears in the next scene, She expresses two concerns, which will be associated with her throughout the play and will come to symbolize the plight. She complains that she is fallen while the sun is shining on the world, and throughout the play, Apume's impending death will be linked to the sun. She has come out into the bright sun because there is only darkness and cold in her room. Isn't she complaining of the secrecy that surrounds Edufa's dark deeds that has condemned her to death? And is she not asking her husband to bring his actions into the light of the sun? Perhaps such openness may heal her. Her husband, however, persists in the course he has chosen of herbal baths at midnight and burning of insects. He believes that they have only one more of such baths to take. Tomorrow, you will feel better, I promise you. His wife, however, is not convinced. Ampome's next concern is for her children, whom she is leaving behind. Motherhood is a major theme in this tragedy, and Ampoma is presented as a mother who must tragically leave her children because of the love she has for her husband. It is an unnatural choice, but who is to blame? The mother who made the choice, or the husband who imposed the choice? Rather unnaturally, Ampoma compels her husband to promise her that he will not place her children in the care of another wife, and Edufa swears the terrible oath that no other woman shall share his bed. The scene ends with Ampoma, as if foreseeing her imminent death, reaching out to her children. Perhaps the scene is rather melodramatic, as Ampoma crying out for her children and her mother, while in the distance the chorus is heard again, singing their dirge about the death of her mother. In the next scene, Segua comes to re-emphasize the misery surrounding Ampoma's illness. She does not know anything for a fact, but she believes strongly that Edufa has done Ampoma wrong. She is fed up of having to burn the futile incense. She is tired of the secret she has to keep concerning her mistress's illness, and in this scene, she simply lashes out in frustration. Scene 4 breaks the tension somewhat and unravels the mystery of Ampoma's illness. The visit of Kankam confirms Segua's suspicion about Edufa's responsibility and his wife's illness, and also contributes to understanding of the kind of hero Edufa is. Kankam is Edufa's father, and does not hold him in the kind of awe in which most people hold him in the society. In fact, Kankam has not been in his son's house for the past 3 years, but he has come on this particular day, or he has come on this fateful day, to ask about the health of his daughter-in-law. It is Kankam who reveals the secret of Ampoma's illness, even though Edufa at first refuses to acknowledge his guilt. Once Kankam leaves, however, Edufa confesses his misdeed in one of the most important speeches of the play, in which he confesses that he did not even believe in what he was doing when he took the charm that was supposed to prolong his life. Who thought the charm made any sense? Not I. A mystic symbol by which to calm my fears. That was all I could concede. It still doesn't make any sense, and yet how it frets me until I am a leaf, blown frantic in a whirlwind. If only I hadn't been so cynical. I bent my knees where I had no creed, and am constrained for my mockery. The thing he did not quite believe in has turned out deadly serious, and his wife now lies at death's door. His problem is that he is neither one thing nor the other. Edufa is neither traditional, neither is he completely modern. If he does not really believe in witchcraft and other elements of traditional belief, then he shouldn't have dabbled in it. He should have been guided by the scientific principles of his formal education, as his father had tried to bring him up to do. What he is guilty of, he says, is his failure to create a faith. Furthermore, his quarrel with his father exposes him as a man who is concerned with his social responsibility or respectability and the popularity that comes with wealth than facing the consequences of his action. What is more, his manner of addressing his father is disrespectful and rather un-African. His fame and wealth seems to have gone into his shallow head. When at the end of the scene, he wishes his father to come back, so I may weep on his shoulders. The readers cannot extend so much sympathy to Edufa. He lacks the moral courage to admit his misdeed to his father. he cannot be truly sorry. In a real sense, the play reaches its climax in the scene between Kankam and Edufa. The rest of the play is just a tensionless drift toward Ampume's certain death. Act 2 opens with a chorus arriving at Edufa's house. It is a scene of profound dramatic irony in which the woman, not knowing how close to death Ampuma is, come to mourn the death of another inhabitant of the town. The pathos of the scene lies in the innocence of the chorus as against the sorrowful knowledge of Segua and the pretense of Edufa, which will inevitably be exposed. Senchi in Act 2 Scene 2 seem to at first provide comic relief, something that will not occur in the model upon which this play is partly crafted. Why does the playwright bring in this character who makes jokes, flirts with women, and sings songs? What is such a character doing in a tragedy? There are two answers to this question. Senchi's arrival leads to a general lifting of spirit and general lifting of the gloom that pervades this tragic play, causing a change in the atmosphere that will affect even the dying Ampuma. Edufa's wife, Ampuma, will join the merrymaking only to be struck down again. This deepens the tragic effect. Secondly, Senchi's singing combines with the chanting of the woman to comprise an African element in the tragedy. The scene with Sam the Idiot presents Edufa's untiring efforts to reverse the effects of the charm and save the life of his beloved wife. One presumes that Edufa entrusts the mission of seeking the antidote to the curse to an idiot as a way of ensuring the safety of a secret. An idiot is not likely to fathom the significance of the mission. Also, an idiot is often endowed with some kind of holiness that makes him an appropriate messenger for such a mission. Sam may be said to contribute to the airy atmosphere of the play, but as with Senchi, Sam is a character that detracts from the seriousness of the tragedy and diminishes its impact. Act 3 opens with Edufa and Senchi comparing the qualities of their lives. Edufa once thought of himself as a solid man whose enterprise supported the entire community, a life he was once eager to hold on to with all his might and fight with all his resources to maintain. Now, he is not sure. The solidity sometimes becomes an illusion. Senchi, on the other hand, is a man on the move who travels light and who, as he says, pays his way through life with the songs. He is the artist who dispenses happiness and who does not like to wear another man's suit, content to be what he is, and it is the spirit of dispensing joy that he sings a song which causes Abena to drop the flowers meant for Ampuma on the steps with a sign of the sun, prefiguring Ampuma's death. It is a song which also touches Edufa, Segua, and even the dying Ampuma, and the latter's words of appreciation are meant as Efua Sutherland's tribute to the artists and the musicians, offers of non-material gifts to the world. Tell Senchi that all will be left to those who dare to catch in the song the comforts of this world. The final scene of the play mixes comedy and tragedy as a way of heightening the pathos of Ampuma's death. She joins in the merrymaking only to poison it with her strange and weird behavior and eventual death. When she pulls her waist beads on her husband just before her death, she is in this fact claiming him forever, reminding him of his promise not to remarry. And when she falls dead on the sign of the sun, it marks the culmination of her quest for the light of the truth and honesty from her husband. On her death, first, Segua declares Edufa's crime to the guests, then Edufa himself, clearly going out of his mind, incoherently confesses the rest and undertakes his madness to bring back his wife. Let's now discuss the major characters in the play. Edufa. Edufa, the eponymous character of the play, is the principal character of the play or the protagonist of the play. He is wholly responsible for everything that happens in the play. He has no respect for his father. He is selfish and can be considered as a wicked person as he exchanges his life for another person's life. He also contributes to his own downfall. He is a man of substance whose benevolence is enjoyed by all who visit his house. He exhibits affluence and is liked and respected by all in the society. He is a coward in terms of confessing facts. He is unable to confess his sins to his father, who was ready to help him. Edufa represents a modern African who is lost between tradition and modernity. This modern African is not completely modern, neither is he completely traditional, and as such, he is lost between tradition and modernity. Kankam. Kankam is Edufa's father. He displays the qualities of a father in the real sense of the word. Though hurting the feelings of his son, he still comes back to his house 3 years later to try to be of help to him. Kankam is a man of tradition and has belief in traditional medicines and diviners, including religion. He questions Edufa about radiation and the bond between son and father when he, Kankam, refuses water and stays at Edufa's house on his visit. Ampoma. Ampoma is Edufa's wife. Edufa's wife, Ampoma, is a tragic victim of her husband's selfish desire to survive at the expense of another's life. She takes a deadly oath that is made to deflect Edufa's death to anyone who promises to love him enough to die for him. She is partially responsible for her own death because when the old refuses to make the fatal pronouncement on love, she does so expectedly. Ampoma is the sole cause of all the conflicts in the drama. Thus, conflict regarding Edufa and Kankam, Senchi and Edufa. Ampoma is presented as a caring, loving and compassionate mother to her children and to the household. Ampoma's love as a wife is sincere, total, and unconditional, even to the point of dying for her husband. Let's now consider the major themes in the play. Edufa has many themes of varying importance to the society in terms of moral values. This includes the price of unconditional love. The theme of the price of unconditional love is the central tendency around which all the other events in the play revolve. Ampoma loves Edufa unconditionally. She loves him enough to die for him. She pays the ultimate price, which is death, with her life for the love of her husband. This happened when Edufa consults a diviner and is told that death's hands are on his head and that he can only live or deflect his death if he gets someone who loves him unconditionally enough to die for him. Ampoma is ignorant that her husband carries a fatal charm on his body, which will claim the life of anyone who promises his or her total love for him. In return, Ampoma tells Edufa, "You have made me pay my life for loving you. Now, I demand that you make same sacrifices with your life." Ampoma curses Edufa before she died. Therefore, both husband and wife demonstrate their mutual claim of life. Thus, there is a high price to pay for unconditional love. The theme of fame and wealth. Edufa is presented as a modern African man who is willing to do anything to protect his image. His home is open to everyone and carries himself as one who is worthy of the respect of the entire community. Edufa is willing to do anything to keep or uphold onto his status of fame and wealth to the extent that he wants to trade his death with someone who promises to love him enough. Next is the theme of tradition versus modernity. Efua Sutherland uses her novel, Edufa, to clearly depict the conflict between tradition versus modernity in which the modern African finds himself. The play presents a serious conflict between tradition and modernity. Edufa poses as a modern man and lives as such. However, the problem with Edufa is that he is neither traditional, neither is he modern. Edufa doesn't believe in witchcraft, yet he dabbled in it. He should have been guided by the scientific principles of his formal education. Respect for old age. Another theme that permeates throughout this novel is the respect for old age. Edufa does not honor and respect his father. He insults his father by calling him a madman. Things have not been going on smoothly between father and son. Edufa tries a fatal charm on his father to get him to die for him, But it did not work. Edufa bears hatred for his father, even after 3 years. Edufa even refuses to give water to his father to drink when he later visits him. He also commands him to leave his house. To crown it all, Edufa claims his father envies him just because the father came to help him. It is no wonder that tragedy awaits a character like him. The consequences of mystical consultation. From our study of the play, it seems mystical consultation is a cultural norm for both Kankam and Edufa, though for different purposes. Edufa initially denies in the spirituality and influence of diviners as he dismisses them. Diviners? Oh, diviners? What have diviners got to do with me? Kankam does not hide the fact that he consults diviners about his health. Kankam believes that diviners can perform rituals to affect changes in man's future, health, wealth, etc. He says, sometimes it may be good, sometimes ill. Therefore, for Kankam it was good, but for Edufa, the consequences of his actions were tragic. Even though he doesn't believe in them, he dabbled in it and is faced with the consequences of mystical consultation. Next is the essence of life. This theme in itself is a question to the readers. The answer to this question needs an examination of the essence of life in moral, social, and philosophical context between two characters, thus Edufa and Senchi. Edufa and Senchi are opposite sides of the same coin, that is, dark and light, tragic and comedy, settled and wandering. Edufa enjoys the social aspect of life because he is rich, has a good family, has a devoted wife, caring mother-in-law, has children, etc. But he cannot be said to be truly happy in life. He feels insecure and has to resort to spiritual protection. This has caused his downfall. Senchi, on the other hand, is poor, unmarried, has no landed property, carries his earthly possession on his shoulder as he wanders in life, singing and playing tunes for a living. Yet, he is a happier fellow. He carries no guilt on his face, as Edufa does. It would seem therefore that Senchi's life, with all his troubles, is a better one. Another theme that is explored by Efua Sutherland in a play, Edufa, is the theme of contentment. We also come across greed and selfishness. Let's now discuss the symbols or the use of symbolism in Edufa by Efua Sutherland. The dew water. The dew water here signifies life or purity, as the Ghanaian culture maintains. It is upon this background that Edufa uses dew water as one of the means to save Ampume's life. Dew water in the African context is believed to be holy, pure, and not contaminated, and therefore it is good for spiritual healing. The owl. The significance of the presence of the hooting of the owl that Sam brings to the house is very supreme in the study of the play. Universally, the owl is believed to signify bad omen. Therefore, the mere presence of the owl in the house creates a rather gloomy situation in the house. The sign of the sun on Ampume's doorstep. The symbol of the sun symbolizes brightness, hope, and life, and therefore must never be darkened in any way. The sign of the sun that Sam draws on the doorsteps of the couple demands that Ampuma should never fall on it. The implication is that if Ampuma falls on the sign, her life becomes darkened at that moment, and therefore her death is imminent. However, the presence of Senchi and the chorus of the singing women brings Ampuma out of the living room, where she falls on the sign of the sun. This causes Seguwa to scream. Edufa yells in horror. Ampuma consequently passes away. The three pebbles. Sam returns from the diviner, holding three pebbles, with definite instructions to Edufa. The three pebbles, symbolically, show the nature of Ampume's death. It means that Ampuma should not fall to the ground 3 times. Sam throws the pebbles one after the other, and Edufa catches all three. Symbolically, the throwing and catching of the pebbles indicate that Ampoma must not fall 3 times on the ground. The 3 pebbles indicate that Ampoma's passing away is inevitable. The worst beats Ampoma pulls around Edufa's neck. When Ampoma realizes that her sickness is caused by her husband Edufa and that her death was inevitable, she decided to claim him for life. She does this by taking her waist beads and the full presence of the public, puts it on his neck, claiming him forever or claiming him for life. Ampoma also claimed the physical and spiritual being of Edufa into her grave, thus denying him of happiness. The vision of Ampoma on the ant hill by Abena. This vision is symbolic of the departure of a mother who finds it difficult to leave her children motherless. It shows that the death of Ampoma is at hand. It also shows the responsibility of the African mother and also signifies the final separation of a mother from her children. The flowers falling from Abena's hands. Flowers in many communities are used in both happy and sad occasions. Happy occasions, especially in weddings, and sad occasions when somebody passes away, and flowers become a wreath. Considering the situation in the play, the flowers given to Ampoma by Edufa in their joy, ironically, symbolizes a wreath. Thanks for watching this video. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video.